Hi, and welcome to my classroom. My name is Michael Torguson, and I teach the Options program at the Medford Opportunity School at the Jackson County Juvenile Justice Center in Medford, Oregon. Now, my kids are not incarcerated, but they are high-risk youth. They have discipline and attendance issues, legal issues. They have been incarcerated in the past. Some have been expelled, and some of them we just feel a lot better if they go through a metal detector before they come to school. The one thing that all of my kids have in common is that they are discouraged about their schooling. Some are getting ready to drop out, some are just biding their time. So in this class, what I've got to do is I've got to make sure that every project we do not only will get them closer to graduation, but will also engage them in their own learning. So to that end, I had them put together a 10-city world tour. Now they're focused on the here and now, so I wanted to connect them to the outside world and get them to think more globally about things. So what the kids are going to do is they are planning a 10-stop tour around the world. One of the main requirements was that they pick a place from each of the 6 continents, Antarctica excluded, and then the other 4 they were able to pick for themselves. The first part of their project was to fill out the Creating Your Google Earth Tour form for each of the 10 places. They were especially told to focus on the cultural, historic, or environmental significance of each place. Using Google Earth and Google Maps Street View, they began to explore the world, trying to find different places that they wanted to visit. This was interesting for them because they got to virtually visit places they had previously only seen or heard of on TV and movies. I built in some unstructured time for them to explore instead of merely trying to plow ahead with their project. I framed the expectation for the presentation for them to focus not only on the cultural aspect of the place they went, but also the historical and the ecological significance as well. Now, I wanted them to go to really cool and fun places, but I also wanted them to take notice of how the place affected the people, how the people affected the place, and how different and similar each place was to their own hometown. As they chose each place to go, they researched specifics about the place and then began to put their presentations together. Now, the first thing they had to do was create a custom map for their place using the National Geographic Mapmaker website. Then, following a specific set of content for their layout, they created their tour. Each place had one or more of the significances, and they had to outline those in their project, as well as talk about their must-see, must-do attractions, as well as things they learned while they were on their visit. As soon as their travel log was ready to go, they got up and they presented it in front of the class. Now this rocks for 2 reasons. The first reason is that they were able to get up and speak to the class about their passion. They were able to share where they wanted to go. Now, speaking in public, especially in front of peers, is not the easiest thing in the world to begin with, but with high-risk alternative education kids, this was really a huge step for them. The other fantastic thing was that the kids in the audience listened respectfully. They were supportive of their colleague. They were able to get a real good vibe going in the class so that the person presenting felt comfortable enough to talk to the people who were listening, and the people who were listening were engaged and brought along in the process. And they also had fun with it. This lesson sparked curiosity in them not only to discover new places, but to expand their knowledge of their known places. And by further investigating these places, they developed a sense of responsibility about how to be a visitor to different places and cultures, how to respect and appreciate the historical and cultural landscapes they find themselves in, and one of the kids even reached out to the National Tourism Office to request more information. This lesson was heavy on observation by way of internet resources. The kids didn't have the opportunity to go in person, so they had the perspective of professional observers and were able to integrate those observations into their own worldview. They also communicated through their final presentations. They had to be able to get their point and passion across to their peers in a way that was informative and engaging. And as a bonus, through the process of developing these presentations, the kids worked together instead of always coming to me for help. That collaboration allowed them to take on the role of content expert. They felt a sense of accomplishment by teaching each other, and I was able to see that their pride and self-confidence grew just because of the way that they worked together. The human journey and our changing planet were both very integral parts of this project. The students needed to know how their chosen places came to be significant, how the people in those places adapted to their environment, and how the natural world connects everything together. My name is Michael Torguson, and I appreciate you visiting my class today.